Good day, everyone.
I was born and raised in Detroit. Growing up there, I saw people like me running things.
This is a courtroom, not a circus, so we're gonna calm down.
I'm sorry.
What I found there was a passion that I didn't know existed.
This is the bottom line.
I'm excited to free fall into the limitless possibilities with we the people. So many are fearful of the law. They think it's something that works against them.
I think you need to begin to accept responsibility for your mistakes.
We are the people.
Jose Sanchez claims his tasty tacos were a hit, so the birthday party guests ate more than the host prepaid for.
All rise.
Bianca Lewis says she contracted for 80 plates and never agreed to pick up the tab if her guests wanted more.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good morning, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Sanchez versus Lewis. Mr. Sanchez, you are suing Ms. Lewis for $450. You say she owes you money for unpaid additional taco services. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and the defendant, you say you don't owe the plaintiff any more money.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, taco services. What are those?
I provide tacos.
All right, so it's you made tacos. You have a taco truck, or you came and made them, you're a caterer? Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, yes, I do have a taco truck. For the event, I came through with just one of my associates. We came and set up a taco stand to prepare tacos and serve them to her guests.
All right, and what kind of party was this, Miss Lewis?
This was for my 41st birthday party.
41st birthday, and you had the taco truck.
We did have the taco truck, but we did pay for the taco truck.
You paid for it?
I did pay for it. I paid him the amount that we agreed on, and he is charging me for extra tacos that I did not order.
All right, so how many tacos did you make the agreement for?
We paid for 80 plates for 80 guests, which included 3 tacos per guest with rice and beans.
All right.
And he is charging an additional $450 on top of the 1,000.
What was the amount of the 80 plates for 80 guests?
It was $12.50 per guest.
Did anyone bring the contract?
We didn't have a contract,
No,
Your Honor.
We had a verbal agreement.
Just a verbal agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is what we do, and you agree to that. You agree that for 80 guests, 80 plates, it would be $12.50 a guest.
Yes, Your Honor. We agreed at $1,000 for the 80 guests.
All right, so $1,000. Mm-hmm. So take me to the day of the party. You had the party, and what happened? He says you owe him for more tacos. You had more than 80 guests?
I may have had more than 80 guests. I gave all of my 80 guests a ticket. So they were supposed to give him a ticket that were all counted for. He wasn't supposed to have to do any counting. The only 2 guests that I was made aware of that didn't get their tacos were my aunt and my cousin, who came to me saying they had lost their tickets. They had tried to order the tacos and he wouldn't serve them. So I went over with them and asked him to serve those 2 guests because they were my family. And it should have just come out of the 80 total. I wasn't expecting any additional tacos ordered past that.
And so at the party, you didn't have anyone there counting how many people were present. You had 80 tickets. You passed those out, then you stopped worrying about it.
Exactly.
Because you're trying to enjoy your birthday.
Exactly, Your Honor.
So now, Mr. Sanchez, as the taco truck owner, do you have a way of noticing immediately whether you're feeding more than 80 people? Do you only have 80 plates set aside, so when those plates are done, you know the 80 have eaten? How are you keeping track of it?
Well, Your Honor, I have a clicker counter.
Okay.
Keeping tabs of my inventory. Also, when the defendant came to me and asked me to cater her event, we had spoke about the number of guests and how much food they would receive, and we agreed on the $1,000 amount. I did follow up with a text to the defendant letting her know that it would be that amount for the 80 guests, for the 3 taco plate plus the rice and beans, with any additional tacos beyond that being charged at $3.50 per taco. To that text message, I received a reply saying, okay. That, to me...
Did you bring that text message?
Yes, Your Honor.
May I see it, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
You'll also notice I did not say I approved.
Hey, just sending you a reminder, it's $1,000 for 80 tacos. It's $3.50 each taco for any guest who wants an extra one. So if you got 3 tacos with your a meal,
yes,
and if they wanted another taco, you're going to charge her $3.50
per taco.
All right. And so how did we get to $450 and $3.50 per taco? That's a lot.
Well, Your Honor, it was a lot of people at the party. People were coming up asking for food. Not everybody had tickets. I was keeping tabs with the clicker. We roughly went about 130, it was I think 128 tacos over the amount to be exact.
Coming up,
You should have gone and got the defendant and said, hey, I'm at 80 now. You didn't do that?
No, Your Honor.
You just started giving people tacos.
Yes, Your Honor. People were demanding food, and it was getting a little intense.
and later,
My question is, why didn't you just move it to the garage where it'd be safe?
Well, he said you had a lot of stuff in there, did you?
It was some stuff in there, but it wasn't enough to really not. I park my car in there all the time.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with a dispute between Jose Sanchez and catering client Bianca Lewis over an unpaid taco bill.
128 tacos over the amount. Were people asking you for more tacos than what was served? Were they saying, hey, can I have an extra? Hey, can I have this? Were they saying that?
Yes, Your Honor. People were coming up and people were asking for more
And you were
tacos.
giving it to them?
Yes, Your Honor. There was an issue with the aunt and the cousin when they came up to get their plates.
But she walked them up.
Well, they had come up originally on their own, and they were asking for their meals without any tickets, and we're starting to create quite a fuss about it. And so I asked them to go get the defendant so that the defendant could approve them getting their plates, which the defendant did. But after that, a lot of people had saw the commotion and saw them getting plates without tickets, and then it kind of became a thing where a lot of people were coming up saying they didn't have their ticket, and I was just me and my partner. I couldn't be going to get the defendant every single time that somebody came up.
So did you give them tacos or didn't you?
They did.
So people were coming up without a ticket and you were serving them tacos?
Yes, Your Honor.
But I thought the agreement was that you were only going to do 80. That's why she had 80 tickets and you had a counter for 80. So the moment that the counter went to 81, it was about to be 81, you should have gone and got the defendant and said, hey, I'm at 80 now. What are you at? Because every taco I serve after this is going to cost you money. Do you want to serve them or not?
Right.
You didn't do that?
No, Your Honor.
You just started giving people tacos.
Yes, Your Honor. People were demanding food, and it was getting a little intense. So I was trying to appease the people and feed the people. And per the text message that I had sent the defendant, stating that it would be $3.50 per taco in addition to the 80 plates we had spoke on, and got the reply okay, I figured it would be okay to continue doing so.
And you say here, hey, just sending a reminder, it's $3.50 each for any guest who wants an extra taco.
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
now, to be clear, that means if one of the 80 guests who have a ticket want a fourth taco or a fifth taco, you were going to charge $3.50 extra. You agreed and said, okay. But what you all didn't figure out is, what were the parameters? How is she supposed to approve every extra taco? Are you just allowed? Can you serve up to 100 more tacos, 50 more tacos before you consult with her? I mean, you all don't have the specificity down.
Understandable.
What was your understanding, Ms. Lewis?
My understanding was that my 80 guests would be served, and if there were additional, they would either pay out of pocket or, you know, I didn't know anyone else.
You paid a guest, and if they say, hey, can I have one more taco, they were supposed to pull out $3.50?
Well, my 80 guests, that was all I could afford, was to pay for my 80 guests.
So why did you agree that if it's $3.50 for any guest who wants an extra taco? Why didn't you, instead of okay with an exclamation point, why didn't you respond and say, do not give out one extra taco? 3 tacos is enough. 80 people get 3 tacos. That's 240 tacos. That's it.
I assumed it wouldn't be an issue, and as the professional who does this on a regular basis, I would have assumed that maybe he would have mentioned that to me, that this happens a lot, that people overorder. I just assumed
Well, I think that's why he sent the text, just sending you a reminder. It's $1,000 for 80 tacos, and it's $3.50 for any guest who wants an extra taco.
Right.
But also in this exchange, you know, in contractual situations, we're always looking for where the meeting of the minds, right? And it's clear that you all didn't have a meeting of the minds with respect to what to do with guests over 80 and how to determine how many guests, if any, get the extra taco. You were clear about the ticketless guests, which is why you sent them to go find her. Because the meeting of the minds was that every one of the 80 guests who are to be served should have a ticket, right?
Right.
So you followed the rule there. So why is it that these guests over and above 80 who don't have tickets get served? It doesn't make sense. You know, in this courtroom, I always say, make it make sense.
I understand, Your Honor. The problem I had was keeping track of all the different people. I wasn't aware of what 80 guests were.
And that is an important business lesson. You've got to have an operating system that doesn't leave you out there just giving tacos away when everybody get hungry, and then you go, oh Lord, I done gave away 100-something tacos. She owed me $450 when she never agreed to give tacos to any guest without a ticket, and you knew that because the 2 family members that didn't have one, you sent them to go find her. Mm-hmm. You need a system in place where when you go above and beyond what is contracted for, you can protect yourself. In this instance, you did not, so I have to dismiss your case. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Any final thoughts with each other?
I learned my lesson about not having things in writing.
And I learned my lesson not to hire you again as a caterer.
Please grab your things and come this way.
Coming up,
Obviously, it wasn't parked in the garage, it was in the driveway because it was stuff in the way.
No, it was actually because I was in a rush to get on my trip, and so I left it outside that day.
you're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. Bill Brock claims his parked car was rear-ended when his cousin moved it from the driveway to the street. Nathan Brock says he was afraid a nearby tree would fall on the vehicle during a storm, so he moved it.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Brock versus Brock. Mr. Brock, you are suing Mr. Brock for $1,328. You say your cousin is responsible for your car being damaged. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The other Mr. Brock, you say you don't owe him anything, and that the plaintiff has insurance. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So what
Your Honor.
happened to the car, Mr. Brock?
I was going out of town on a vacation with my friends, and so I asked him to watch my house for a couple days. Make sure my dog was taken care of, make sure that nothing went awry in my house, no fires, anything like that.
Sounds like what family does for family. Mr. Brock, what happened?
The night of the incident, it was pouring rain. The winds were about 75 miles per hour. I looked it up on the news. Like, the winds were going crazy. It was branches and leaves flying all over the place. It was like an inch of rain on the ground. And it looked like the tree, because his car was parked in the driveway, it looked like the tree that was right next to his car was about to fall on it. So I would have put it in the garage, but it was all kind of junk in there, and I couldn't get it in there. And I'm not a moving service, so I wasn't about to sit up over here and move all that stuff out of the garage.
So what'd you do?
So I parked it on the street next to his mailbox.
All right, and so what happens, Mr. Brock?
Yeah, so I get a text the morning after the incident happened, and he tells me that someone rear-ended my car the night before while I was parked on the street. So after I talked to him, I got pretty upset because he told me that a big storm had come through with heavy winds, and he was afraid that a tree was going to fall over and hit my car. My question is, why didn't you just move it to the garage where it'd be safe?
Well, he said you had a lot of stuff in there, did you?
It was some stuff in there, but it wasn't enough to really not. I park my car in there all the time. So clearly it wasn't enough so that he wouldn't be able to just move a couple things out of the way.
It clearly was enough because obviously it wasn't parked in the garage, it was in the driveway because it was stuff in the way.
No, it was actually because I was in a rush to get on my trip, and so I left it outside that day.
Coming up,
I called him and I asked him to pay it because I felt like he was, in fact, I know he's responsible because this wouldn't have happened had he not moved it. And he wouldn't have any of it.
closed captioning provided by You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Bill Brock, who blames his cousin, Nathan Brock, for hit-and-run damage to his car.
Did you leave town with the instruction, please put my car in the garage if the weather gets bad or anything happens? Did you leave that instruction?
I did not, but at the same time, I thought he would have the common sense to do that in the event that something like that happens.
not a
Instead of putting
moving
on the
So what kind of
street.
stuff is in your garage?
Just boxes, just old clothes, stuff like that, workout stuff.
Well, in the middle of a storm, you wanted him to go out, open the garage, and start doing a little moving and cleanup job.
I mean, I get that, but at the same time, I mean, he also could just left it where it was. I've had that tree there for many years. It's never given me a problem.
And so you would have preferred to take the chance that the tree fall on your car and crush your car versus somebody rear-end you or hit you. Did they sideswipe you or rear-end you?
So they rear-ended me, and I actually have the photo right here.
I'd like to see that.
And here's the
So
thing.
you would prefer that?
No, here's the thing is that my insurance would cover a tree falling over in the rain because it's a natural disaster situation, as opposed to a hit and run, which is what it was. We had no idea who to go after. It was just, it was a hit and run. I had no cameras on my street. No one saw it. No one was able to see what could have possibly happened.
So you had to pay your deductible?
Well, that's the thing, Your Honor. I refuse to pay my deductible. I refuse to pay it through my insurance because I am not the reason this happened. He made the decision to put my car out there.
So the bumper still looks like that?
Yes, it does.
You never fixed it?
No.
So the $1,328 that you're suing for, you got the estimate and you want him to pay it?
Yeah, so I got the estimate on a new bumper. I called him and I asked him to pay it because I felt like he was, in fact, I know he's responsible because this wouldn't have happened had he not moved it. And he wouldn't have any of it.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake.
I was waiting to hear facts that may suggest that there was something else you could have done, right? Say the garage was free and you chose to put it on the street instead of just pull it on into the garage. But once he admits that there are boxes and things all over the garage, so much so he didn't even pull his own car in there before he left, that tells me a reasonable person probably wouldn't have chosen the garage at the point a storm was raging. Now, but for you moving it there, right? If the car wasn't on the street, then no one could sideswipe it. However, your actions really aren't the proximate cause, right? There is a causal link, but it's not the proximate cause. Truly, the person, the driver that did the hit and run, is the person responsible for your damages, not your cousin. Judgment for the defendant. Plaintiff's case is dismissed. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Any final thoughts for each other?
All this could have been avoided, man. Like, we tighter than that.
Obviously, I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I hope we can get past this one way or another.
Please follow me, gentlemen.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.